Goals, 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 goals. So many goals by the Rangers. And a little bit, so many goals by their opponent. We've seen it in their first game. They won a close game, 3-1, Tampa Bay Lightning. But we haven't seen it since. We got goalied against Winnipeg, fine. And then we should have gotten goalied by Gibson, but the pressure was too high. And the power plays, and they were determined to not lose to Ryan Strome and Frank Vatrano, who, by the way, one of them was a lock before the game to score. So if you put down anytime scorer, either one of those, good on you. The Rangers are kind of a wagon right now. I think there's not much to talk about other than they have to keep this scoring up, especially if they're going to play this poor defensively when they're up by 2 goals. We got 2 games to cover and a lot of positives. Let's go. Man of the match for the games against Winnipeg and Anaheim. Really, it's like the first star of any game. You kind of got to give that Winnipeg game to Connor Hellebuyck. He played lights out. The only goal that we got past him was a sweet dish that came from Panarin and eventually ended up in Hunt's wheelhouse, top shelf. But other than that, it was a 2-1 game, and Rangers couldn't beat Hellebuyck. That said, overall, especially, I would say man of the match this year so far. So, in other words, MVP of this year so far for our team, Artemi Panarin. He has 10 points, 9 assists, and a goal, and he's on fire. He's leading the NHL in points. The chemistry with Trocheck is almost seamless and better than it was with Ryan Strome, which is honestly unbelievable. Very glad we have Trocheck in the mix there. But Panarin is finding players. He's finding those lanes that only he can see. And then he lets go a snipe from above the slot and beats John Gibson glove side. That was unbelievable. And if he shoots like that year round, he could be a leading scorer in the league, not just leading in points. But Panarin, by far, up there as number 1. I think Zibanejad is a distant 2 for us. Just wanted to give it to 2 guys since we covered 2 games. Zibanejad has been also lights out from Ovechkin's office right on the top of the circles there. And on the power play in general, he just finds space and finds lanes to drive to the net and take shots when he needs to. And he has been scoring at a great pace. He could break 50 this year. I don't think Kreider's going to do it. We've seen Kreider already. Should have put in a couple goals in front of the net that last year he definitely would have. I think Kreider still breaks 30, but Mika Zibanejad is going to take that scoring title for the Rangers this year. So, men of the matches, Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad. Dope or dopes of the day. I gotta think that it's hard to put this on anyone. No one really did anything stupid. Maybe having Gallant there because he played Hayek when Halak is in net and we ended up losing that game. But I don't blame Hayek for that loss. That is definitely, we got out-goalied that game. Connor Hellebuyck stood on his head, like I said. And I also understand the idea of giving Jones a break when he played a lot and well against Minnesota. I think coach is trying to protect Jones and not burn him out too early in the season, and I think that's a fine play. It's just Libor Hayek might not be the guy you want in your 7th spot. The problem is we don't really have anyone else, so if we go out and get a depth defenseman, that could be the spot that he slips in there. But I don't want to give dope of the day to really anyone on the Rangers. I think it would be better suited to give it to the Toronto Maple Leafs. The problem being, Toronto hasn't beaten the Arizona Coyotes or the Phoenix Coyotes at home in regulation since 2006. And now, Arizona is one of the top contenders for Connor Bedard this year, so that would mean they would get last place and win the lottery for last place to get the first round pick, Connor Bedard. Toronto is supposed to be a cup contending team. They've been on a little bit of a slide, and I think their management is all in the hot seat about it. But they end up losing 4-2, and the line on them was, I think it was -500, -580 maybe. They lost 4-2 to the worst team in the league. That's dope moves. I'm not worried about them. They're going to make the playoffs. They're hopefully, for their sake, win a round this year because they haven't in forever. But losing to the Arizona Coyotes as a cup contending team is the dopiest thing you can do. So dope of the day. Sorry. Toronto Maple Leafs. So, unsung hero. I could give it to Trocheck having his first goal as a Ranger. I could give it to Kakko playing outstanding on that first line. He's really stepped up and he's looking like a totally different player. He's looking like the World Juniors Kakko that we came to know and love and were hoping for when we drafted him. I could give it to the kid line, Kakko included, but Lafreniere and Hedel as well. And Gerard Gallant for recognizing, and the whole coaching staff, for recognizing that they need to put these kids together in some way. And if it can't come in 5-on-5, normally it has to come right after the power play is over. Because, especially if we don't score, because power play 1 is lights out, right? Like, they've been scoring at an awesome pace. If, for whatever reason, they don't score, power play expires, putting out those kids with the motors they have and the young legs they have is dominating teams. And it's such a great tactic that I'm giddy about it. It's so fun to watch them, the kids, come out full speed on an already tired penalty kill that's now gotten even strength, and they're dominating, and that's generating goals for them. And they need to keep doing that if they want to keep scoring 5-on-5. But I think the most unsung hero is Lindy Ruff, head coach of the Devils. God, he is really holding them back, and he used to be a Ranger, so I'm comfortable giving it to him. He is holding the Devils back so much that there's chance fire Lindy Ruff 3 games into the season. And I'm scared personally for when they actually do fire him, because they have Andrew Brunette on the bench, who was the interim head coach for Florida, who got them past a playoff round, and he's the obvious successor in that coaching chain. I think Brunette's style would be, hey, let the kids play, let Palat do his thing, and I think the Devils would automatically jump up and be a more scarier team. They have to figure out their goaltending, but Lindy Ruff, good on you, mate. Thank you so much. You're holding them back, and it's great. Unsung hero, the whole Rangers team, but also Lindy Ruff. Okay, I know that fire into the sun should be left to things that are unacceptable, and I'm just personally a little concerned. I know the Rangers have had 2 games where they've scored 5 or more goals, and they can trust in Igor Shesterkin to not let up 5 goals. I think that is more than reasonable for him, the previous Vezina winner. But I'm a little shaky on our defense when we're up by over 2 goals. I don't like that. First of all, it's ruining Shesterkin's goals against average and save percentage, and I want to see him put up similar numbers and get the deserved recognition as one of, if not the best goalies in the league. It will eventually come back to bite us. Maybe if we keep scoring, it won't matter, but I don't want to be that team. I want to be the team that is outstanding on the offense and also shut down on the defense. I know it's a little bit of a give and take, and you have to decide one way or the other, coaching style and also where you're going to just put most of the pressure. And if it's offense, so be it. But letting up 3 or 4 goals, that's not a winning caliber strategy. So I want to fire this kind of lackadaisical defense when we're up into the sun. Quick insert, reverse retros were released, and I think we might have talked about it before. It is the Liberty jersey in the royal blue, and it has red on the sleeves and royal blue everything else. It has that Liberty crest in the middle, and I think it has white highlights and navy blue highlights. So the numbers and the names pop out more than the previous reverse retros. I think they look awesome. I think they look way better than the reported leak that had 2-toned blue. So I'm excited. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to buy 1, maybe 2. And they also released the schedule. I know the first one is against Boston. So that's awesome. So pumped for that. Finally, just some roster updates. Hunt was sent down to waivers, and this is a move that I could see him getting picked up. You just had to say something, didn't you? You stupid idiot. You dumb, dumb idiot. My fault, guys. Hunt was claimed by the Colorado Avalanche. That worries me. If it was a team like Arizona, like the Sharks, like someone who typically right now doesn't really know what they're doing, it's like, meh, okay, we lost Hunt. That sucks. Our depth takes a little bit of a hit. But it's the reigning champs, Colorado Avalanche. They scare me. And now they have an additional fourth line harder to play against. Peace. Good for them. Hunt, sad to see you go. I know Gallant loved you. I was starting to love you too. Thank you, Hunt. Then we have Kravtsov. Kravtsov did get hurt against Tampa in the first game with Victor Hedman kneeing him in the chest and shoving his head down. And so he's been on a road to recovery. We saw him in practice in a non-contact jersey, and then recently we saw him in a contact jersey, full contact. So he is ready to play. I think he's still technically day-to-day just because they don't want to rush him back. It's early in the season. He's young. So with that said, I think we will see him this week, but Gallant doesn't want to change anything since we've been winning and since the 5-on-5 has been going so well. So I could see them holding him out for a little bit, and then when they see fit, re-injecting him back into the lineup. And that could be end of this week or next week. And then finally, Carpenter. He had a huge gash and stitches behind his ear because he fell on a skate during one of the games. Oh my gosh. It was disgusting. But I really do feel bad for him. It seemed like he was practicing full speed, but I would expect he's out for a couple weeks just so that, you know, those stitches don't fall out and he's all good mentally. I could understand how that would take a lot out of you mentally, but also just like brain-wise, like physically, concussed or whatever it may be. So those two guys are practicing, but likely not to be seen in the lineup for a couple games. All right, game tonight against San Jose Sharks. Very low team. I don't think they have a win yet, but we are seeing David Quinn come back. Oh, the return of the Rabbit Ears coach. That'll be great. I expect a win. I expect, if we score at that clip again, I expect 6-2. Not much else to it. This is a great team, and they are really exciting to watch, and I'm loving every second of this. Thank you so much for joining me and letting me rant a little bit and talk about my favorite team in the whole world. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and be well, everyone. Thank you so much.